All right, so what we're doing now is we are setting up our register component for registering a new account. We're using Angular for this, Angular material. So I have a mat card container here. This is the NGX loading module that I started with. We want to have on here a loading, which is a Boolean. And then we're going to register. So mat form field is our Angular text box, and we're going to do an input here, which will be called a mat input. My class will be a, I don't care, it'll be, the ID will be username, the placeholder will be username, the name will be username, the ng model that it's attached to will be username, and it'll be required. Now we don't need required anymore because this isn't a form. And back on register, we want to have a username as a string. See you soon, Nor. Okay, the next one that I want to have is a password, which is almost the same thing. And it's going to be password. Like that. Now, if I look at my Angular material input password, input types, so I should be able to do type equals password. And then we also want to have a button for submit, which is a button. And we'll say that this one has an appearance equals outline. My type will be a button. My click will be a save application user. We'll say it's a matte stroked button that is a color of primary, and it's matte primary. And I'm going to say that this is submit. So back here we need to have a new password, which is a string, and a save application user, which is going to say alert saving user. We'll give it a run. The back end needs to be running. The front end needs to be running. Let me reset the back end. Let me reload the front end. And there it is, and it's saying cannot start with a slash in accounts for my that. There we go. So on my app, on my back end, I want to have on the identity a new button on account, which is called right up here. We'll say this is called a register new account. Okay. And I'll say that this is accent. So this is a form. So when this works, I want to navigate to, so can I do a at section scripts and then do a script and then capture my button. And it's been a little bit since I've done jQuery, so I just want to do a jQuery selector. Yeah, okay, so we'll just test this by saying that this thing has an ID of register. Like that. And I want to do a click. And I want to just do an alert here, which is click event captured. And we'll try it again. Log out. Log in. Register new account. So that didn't take. Render section scripts lowercase. That's an access denied. So we don't necessarily want to have this in the form. Okay, that's good. But it's not capturing the click event here. So is there another way to do this? So you could just do it with this HTML5 button, I think, called, change this to be primary, and I should be able to do a onClick equals my test function. Then I can do a my test function and just do this alert. This one, we're doing this with a form. You're doing it with this link. So let me do a ASP.NET Core, and I want to do a link to URL. I think it's called an anchor text or something, tag. So it's called tag helpers, I think. Tag helper link. Here we go. So can I just do this as a oops. Can I just do this as a, not this, do a href equals at URL dot action. And we're going to go to http://localhost 4200/accounts or register. Let's try that. That's okay, we can get rid of this. Okay, we didn't get the link. Or could I just do it directly? Just try it with a link. Still looks like it's returning a button, didn't it? Let me just go ahead and hard reload this. Well, it worked, and it took me to my register account. So like an ASP dash route but what does this go to? Action. Is it that? No, it's the at href equals the at URL dot action. And I think I can just do that. Not quite. Try it again. Try it again. No, doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to get a URL. So I want to do a ASP.NET Core tag absolute URL. Ah. So could I go, let's just comment this line out, and could I go ASP protocol equals HTTP, ASP host equals localhost, $4,200. The ASP controller equals nothing, and the ASP action equals register. Register a new account. That one almost worked. So back in here, if it's not specified, we just want to go to register. But this link okay, we could put that under account. Try it one more time. There it is. So if I did an ASP controller equals account, lowercase. Now one of the things that I need in here is a web config. So if I was to reveal this one and bring it in here, in the root, I want to say that I have these rules, which is going to rewrite to index except for that one. And I need to put this in my angular.json. Which goes here under assets. And then again at line 92. And again at, that's it. So let me add another rule in here, above here, and I'm going to say that this is Angular user register. And what I want to do is I want to match the rule account register. And then I'm going to rewrite that to my account register. Now you probably want to put this register on the static site, right? Right? So back in here, we need to make a new site under client. And this is a new web project. It's a core. And I'm going to call this thing my allie.chat.landing. And on here I want to make it an MVC with no auth. And now in this thing, I want to have a button in my layout. Which is going to be a login. And it's going to take me to a href is equal to http://localhost 4200. And we'll have one here which is called register, which goes here. And we'll put this under accounts. So now in here I need to have a new controller called accounts. And a new method called register. I don't understand why that broke. So we'll just duplicate this one and call it the account controller. And on here we want to have one called register. And I need to have a new model in here called a register view model. And on this I want to have a string for my username and a string for my password. We also want to have a string for the email, and this one is going to be a data type. And it's going to be a data type dot password. So now we'll make a new controller with read-write actions for register. This thing needs to be called my accounts controller. We'll rebuild it. And now I'll add on here my new controller type with read-write called register. We'll just call it default. Oh, come on. Unload it, reload it, try it again. Exit the app, rerun the app. There we go. Okay, I did that for a reason, because on my accounts register here, we want to have two. One for the get, and then one for the post. And on this one, we want to have a public action result called register. And it's going to pass in an iForm collection here called collection. Like that. And we'll just have that in there like that for now. Okay. And that means that we need to have it here. A new view for create of a register, and we're going to call this register. And I'm going to add that here into a new folder called accounts. And that looks pretty good. So this will be called register new account. And then if I look at this thing and I look at my build, I'm going to move this to run on SSL and at 5003. And we can remove this SSL redirection here. Okay, this time we are going to run our landing. There it is. So here is login, which should redirect me to my app, and it did. Register a new account should take me to localhost 5003 to accounts register. And it did. So here we could say that I want to have a new live or dev trying password 1. We'll say live or dev trying at gmail.com. And that was my submit, I believe, right? That should have brought me into here. Let me use a one like that. There, so that's working great. So we have my register, we have my login. So now we want to hook this thing up to create a user. So to do that, I will grab the connection string from here. What I should be able to do is under my startup, when I'm configuring my services, I should be able to have a services.add singleton of my automap dot create automapper. And then I also want to create my services. And I'm going to change this to be a iServices register. And this will be a public interface called iBase service. Okay. And then what I want to do is have in here a new task of an application user VM, and this is going to be called a create application user asynchronous, and it's going to pass in an application user create request called request. And that's it. So this is an iServices register. And a services register. Like that, and then we can implement the interface. This needs to inherit base service. Like that. And we're going to pass in here a nothing, because I'm going to do a using my var context equals new application DB context. Now this one's wrong, because we're actually using the context for this one. So in here, we're going to move these two services to my landing under a new folder called services. And delete these. Like that. And then like that. And then my database context here is coming from identity. So if I look at how I'm seeding this user, what I want to have in here is a user manager. So what I want to say is a user manager ASP.NET Core. And I want to look up the example. Where does sign-in manager come from? I don't see how we're going to get user manager in here. So let's try just injecting it directly. So it's getting my identity role. Which is allowing me to use my user manager where I am doing the quick start account controller. Here. So we need to inject my user manager here. So we want to have the constructor and we want to pass in the user manager of an application user here called user manager. And we want to get this one from identity. And so now what I can do is I should be able to look at my user manager dot find by name, which is going to be request dot username. And this isn't an application user create request anymore. It's a register view model. So we're going to say var user equals await that. If my user does not equal to null, so we'll do this as a while, and this needs to be a virtual asynchronous task. Then we want to do a register vm.username. I'm going to say var original username equals register vm.username. And here I want to say var index equals 0. And now I want to say register vm.username is equal to original username plus index plus plus. And then we want to try to get it again. And then once that's done, we want to do a result equals my user manager dot create asynchronous of my user. So we'll do a user equals a new application user, which has the email equal to register vm.email. The username equals the register vm.username. And then we're going to do a create async, and we're going to pass in my register vm.password. We'll have to look how to do a password confirm here. Okay. So here I want to say if my register vm.password does not equal to my register vm.password confirmed, then we want to return null. So if my result didn't succeed, then we'll throw a new exception here, right? I'll do a return on null, because otherwise I want to do result equals my user manager.add claims, and it's my user, and it's going to be a number of new claim. And this one will be a new claim called a JWT claim types dot name. Equals your user.username. Okay, we have a few more of these. This is called given name, family name, email, email verified is going to be false, and the role, which will be a application user. And then I want to say if my result dot succeeded, then I want to return my mapper We'll just do this directly to this application user. Otherwise, I'll return null. This needs to be a register view model. So now in the controller, for when we do this, we want to inject my iServices register. Protected read-only iServices register services. And this one should be a register view model. And we're going to say if my services dot create application user of my register VM like that. And then if my application user does not equal to null, then I want to return my redirect to my http://localhost 4200. This is a virtual asynchronous. Sorry, not virtual, just asynchronous. Like that. This needs to be a task. And then in my identity server, I want to take my connection string and move that into my landing app. That one. And we need to make sure that that's put here. And it is. So now we should be good to go. Okay. We'll accept that. We'll do a register. Okay, it says it can't find user manager. So we need to say ASP.NET Core user manager inject. You need to have in here in your services register this. We need to have my database context for identity. And we also need to get my connection string. And this one comes from identity. There we go. Try it again. Okay, so it did need that. So let me go back to source tree. And this is under identity startup. Okay. We can give it a run. Okay, we'll do a register. It worked. Took me to my register page. I do that. I do a password 1, and a nothing, and I create. So back here, when I do my landing, I issue my create. It says it's null, so it's not creating. So let's try it again. I'm going to create this right now, and it's going to tell me what. Why didn't it succeed? Password requires non-alphanumeric uppercase. So we'll do one of those. Try it again here. This one, when we go through this, we create a new user. That worked. Now I'm going to look at my name, and my application user.email cannot be null. So if it is, we're going to say that that's string.empty. And that worked. And then it'll redirect me to my login, where now it'll ask me for that, and I can do this one, and then one of these, and now we're in. So I want to add Node.js here. So over here on my view layout, I want to add in here my Hey there, Shiro Any. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. I thought there would be one with CDN. So if I was to open this up in code, I should be able to do a npm install Node. And then I can look back in here and I want to move my Node.js min CSS to my www root. Okay, which means I can delete my node manager here, and then also my I thought there was another file that was made. Hey there, TrackCS. The Twitch bot's already done. I'm just making the front end. And we can get rid of this package lock.json. Okay. So now when I want to include these things, I want to do a link href equals style sheet. Well, it's lib node.css relative equals the style sheet. And then we want to do the same thing for the script for the src is node.js, and this is text JavaScript. So then I can put both of these up here in the development and both of these two down here under node min, right? That one. So to create a notification, what I want to do is on my view for register, I want to do a new script in here, and I'm going to say show notification, which will be a notification text. So I should be able to do something like a new node, like that. And then we'll just do a show notification. This is some fake text. I don't understand what's upsetting here. Let me try it again. Let me go to my local host 5003. And when I go to the register page, unexpected token, there, try it again. And there I can see my notification. Though it doesn't look right at all. Okay, so now if I have like a theme, isn't there like a standard boring one, light, so let's use this one. We try it again. Still doesn't like me. Doesn't like the theme. So you could have a type in here, which could be alert or a warning. Yeah, so that's not working. I need it to have a theme. Not seeing the one I want, which is let's try sunset. So it's not taking those in. It's not reading in the CSS, I think. Because it's not showing me them with the correct themes now. It's like Node CSS isn't being loaded in. So let's check the sources. Yeah, see, Node CSS never got loaded in. There it is. I'm not using SCSS though. Okay, I'm gonna have to try a different notification library, I think. So let's look up toaster notifications. So instead of using this one, we'll use this one in my layout. I'm going to move this here, and we can use this as a link to that one. And then this is the JS one. And then we want the same thing here, .min. And then the same thing here, dot CSS toaster.min.css. And then on my register page, instead of doing this, we're just going to do a toaster.info test message 1. It says 404, it couldn't find toaster, CSS, or JS. Because it's trying to get it in the app. So let's just download them. Okay, so I'll save this one in my library. And I'm going to change this to be, oh, wait a minute. That's why it wasn't working. So before I go any further here, let's go back to this one. Change those back to what it was. We'll go back to register and we'll change that back. And we'll look at it again. Now it's working right. Is it? I thought it should have its themes now. Guess not. That's fine. So we'll just go back and do this again. Same thing here. Okay, we want to add this one here as my new folder called toaster. That one. That one. This one. And this one. Oh, interesting. It says this JS can't be found. No wonder that wasn't working. So we want these two minimums up here. And we'll put this in my Tilly library toaster min CSS and toaster min JS. Okay, I got toaster min. Says it can't render it. I don't get this. It's garbage. Let me see. If I go to NuGet Manager, and I looked for Noti, use client-side libraries, you're saying? Well, what do I do in here? I need to actually put in the... Second. Hey there, Patrick. Okay. I don't get this. I don't get this. I don't care. This is crap. Let's just go to Noti again. There are two different types of Noti here. Try it one more time here. That makes sense. Too bad it wasn't working for me though, right? So let's bring this whole thing to the lib folder. Try it again. Still not working with themes. Yeah, but I'm not using Angular on this project, man. Otherwise, I would be using NGX Toaster. So is it even loading the CSS? It's not loading the library CSS for the theme. I have the themes in here. I have the themes downloaded. Oh, you're saying to actually load. I see what you're saying. No. There it is. No. I have that. Nodi CSS. Semantica CSS. Now it's working. So the one we want is, I don't want warning, and I want this to be the default theme called Mint. I like sunset more. That looks good. So now what we can do is when I'm loading this model here, I want to have in here something called a message. Notification message. And so here I want to say if my model dot notification message, so I could do this as a const notification message equals this. And then I want to do an alert of my notification message. And then in my accounts, I want to make this a new register view model with a notification message of did not work. Forgot to start it. Now, I was expecting this to show this message here. So this didn't take. So what I want to do is I want to ASP.NET Core get model value in JS. We need to do it as a raw. So it's HTML raw dot, and we want to do a JSON dot encode my model. Let's try that. That time it worked. That time it worked. Could I do it just of my notification message? That worked. Like that. And here I want to say, if my notification message is not equal to undefined, and my notification message is not equal to null, and my notification message is not equal to nothing, then I want to do a show notification of my notification message. Beautiful. So here, in my accounts controller now, when we go to the register page, it's just going to show that. And otherwise, here I want to say, if my register vm.password is not equal to register vm.password confirmation, then we want to do a register vm.notification message equals the passwords do not match. Please try again. And then we will do a return a view to my register VM. Otherwise, here we want to do a register VM dot. We'll put this one here as a notification message equals there was an error on the server. Please try again later. Like that. And this one will be right here with this, and it's going to say the user was not created. Please try again later. Okay, so let's go ahead and on my model, change this to be a display. Name is equal to user name. And this one will be password. This one will be confirm password. Run it. Do a register, some fake text. Like that. We'll do a test, and we'll do a something like that. And then I'll do a create, and it'll say the passwords do not match. Hey there, Hector Castelli. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. And then on this one, the password was invalid. Be sure to use 1 capital, 1 numerical. Be sure to use at least 1 capital letter one numerical character and the password is longer than 6 characters. Yeah, I know I can separate attributes with comments. I like them on different lines though. It's just easier for me to read. Okay, let's get rid of that layout. It says use this area to do this. We'll get rid of this cookie consent partial. Which probably gets pulled from the layout somewhere. Right there. Perfect. Register looks good. We'll do this one. We'll do a password. Let's also do a check here where I check to see task of a bool is application username available as a string username. And is application email available? Okay. That looks good. Let's add in these other two functions. Public virtual asynchronous task, and I'm going to do a var user equals await user manager dot find by email of my email. So if that does not equal to null, then that's it. And this is by name, like that. And so here, we can do a if my await services dot is application username available of my register VM dot username. Then it is available. Otherwise, it's going to be false. So if it's not, then we want to do this. The username is not available. Please try again. And then we want to do this one more time for the email. Please use a different email address and try again. There we go. The next thing is on the identity server, where I have my seed data, and it's in config. My post logout URL, this needs to change to be my web app landing page URL, which is 5003. So we'll go into the SQL Server. Okay, and if I go into my SQL Server here, and I delete my client and run it again, this time now, we should start here. We can register, we can log in. We can sign in with Google here. We can log out, and it should take me back to the VM post logout redirect URI. It's set to 5003. Okay. Okay. Okay, we have it set to the wrong URL. Oh, it's 5003. That seems right. If I look here now, we got it. So when I do a login, oh, and then in my auth config here, my logout URL is 505003. And then we'll do a logout, and it takes me back to my main page. So on my home, I don't need this. And if I look at my app component, this thing needs to be only if we have a ng if equals is authenticated. So we log in. Looks good. We log in. Takes me to the page. We can log out. I can register. Log back in. Click on register here. Takes me to the right page. So we're finally ready to start creating the app now. So we don't need the register component anymore. And I can remove that from my app routing module here. And from my app module. And I think we're good there. So that's it for setting up our static content.